this is the preparation for ignition and testing to see how the system works. Right now I have put the cases down here. They will be secured by locks to the axle or to the jack, and that is where they will stay. Currently the ambient temperature is around 12 degrees C or 52 to 54 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's see what it's like inside the trailer. The temperature inside of the trailer is around 10 degrees C, so it is a bit colder inside of the trailer. So let's fire this puppy up and see what happens. So this is the controller. I'm probably going to put some Velcro on here and mount it up by the door here. I know the cables are coming inside right now from the doorway, but I'm not quite sure what to do with them yet. So I'm just going to do this right now, and it doesn't actually impede on the cables or anything. So just to give you a quick idea with this one, I have been informed that if you press and hold the on button, it changes the fan to heat, and if you press and hold it again, it will change it from heat to fan. I will show you this more when we've turned it on. So let's have a look. So there is the fan. It's on heat right now because we have a red fan. We have a red fan and a red dial. I can spin this right up. To give it quite a bit of heat. And if I press and hold the blue on button, it will switch to blue on the fan, and this is now controlling the fan speed. Now obviously they're both directly influenced, because as soon as you dial the fan down, it's going to alter the temperature, because obviously you're not going to have that much output. So like I say, if I dial this back down, that's the fan speed. Now if you watch, when I go back to heat, the heat is set to the same level as the fan right now. So it's going to impact on the heat itself. Once this has got going, we are then going to check the heat inside. Right now I'm just going to dial it back up to hot to get this going fast. Okay, there we go. So this will do its thing. There is already air coming out of the vent, cold air obviously, and let's go and have a look outside. So this is what I mean by the door. It doesn't actually get stuck in here, it doesn't get caught or anything. So we have the battery at the back, we have the diesel tank fairly full, and we have the actual heater unit. I have made a 4-foot extension just to keep the exhaust fumes away from the air intake. That's probably going to be as it is, and it will be staying the same. And then we have the vent going up into the trailer. Now this vent, I'm thinking I might insulate with some of that insulation wrap, but we will see. I'm not sure if you can hear that now. We can hear the burner going and the clicking of the pump. You can hear the fan ramping up, and you can also hear the pump ramping up. We will come back to this in a few minutes. Just to give you a quick idea of the fuel level right now on this angle, you can see right there that it's just above the screw hole here by about at least 10 mil, maybe 15 millimeters. So I'm going to leave this to run for quite a while today. I want to see what the ambient temperature gets to inside the trailer. I say quite a while, it's probably a couple of hours. We're going to leave it on, and also have a look at the fuel level as it goes down. Okay, so yeah, so primarily looking at the temperature change inside of the trailer. Right now The vent has got quite a lot of hot air coming out of there. I've still got it too high, and I will be lowering this down. Once I get it to a comfortable temperature, I want to lower it down, probably in about 40 minutes or so, lower it down and just see how the temperature is keeping inside of the trailer. Now, this is a hard test, and what I mean by a hard test is it's actually going to warm the trailer up from the inside from freezing cold. So we saw 10 degrees. I say freezing cold. What I mean is it's not going to be supplemented by any other heat. Now, when we're out traveling and Sandra comes with me, and she normally goes inside while I level the trailer and get all the outside prepared, including setting up the diesel heater here. She will be inside preparing everything inside, you know, getting everything that may have fallen down, put it into place, bringing out the chairs, etc. So in that time frame, what we're planning on doing is operating the propane heater. That will give me, you know, a good half an hour to get this thing set up. I say half an hour because don't forget I'm doing the jacks, I'm leveling the trailer, getting the skirt on the side, all that good stuff. So about a half an hour to get everything prepped up outside. The propane heater will have then done its job inside and brought it up to a really reasonable temperature. From there, the plan is to turn the propane heater off and run this guy for, you know, a weekend. So Friday night, Saturday all day, Saturday night, up until about, I don't know, 10 a.m. Sunday morning, because normally we have to depart some of the campsites that we're on by 11. That's if we're not free camping. So that is the aim of the game of what we're going to do later, and that's what I mean by this is going to be a, you know, a really cold start test. So far I'm impressed with how it's doing its thing. I'm impressed with my build. That's me. Other people will have other criticisms, I'm sure, but we'll see. And again, it was 12 degrees outside. I can see my breath here, and 10 degrees inside. We are currently 30 minutes into the test, high speed with high heat. We are already pulling 2.5 amps. I forgot to show you this earlier. On cold start, I actually got just under 4 amps. So I'm quite happy with that, because everybody talks about them with the glow plug drawing about 10 amps. Now, maybe it wasn't sufficiently cold out here for the glow plug to go on for very long, I'm not sure. But I did see just under 4 amps. Just going to walk in the trailer. It's been around 40 minutes. I did move the thermometer around because I didn't want it to be in direct airflow. And let's see. Wow, look at that. We're at what, 14 degrees? So we've already increased it by 4 degrees. There we go, better angle for you. 4 degrees already, coming up to 5 degrees. Since startup, and startup can take 5-10 minutes of cold air being pushed in. So what did I say, 30 to 40 minutes? So yeah, about 30 minutes. We've already increased it by 5 degrees C. Am I impressed? A little bit. Yes, because it feels warm inside the trailer too. So at this time, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower this controller down, and we're going to see what the constant heat is. Okay. Pick it up and do it. Okay, so let's just dial the fan down so it's not blowing so fast. Change it to fan. Wind it down. So we are down now. You'll hear the fan in a second. Starting to hear that slow down. Still hot. Slowing right down now. The reason why I wanted to do this is because of condensation inside of the trailer. Now, there's been lots of questions out on the internet about propane and condensation, and I'm even going to throw it out to a group chat that I'm a part of with all my friends, and said I'm going to do this, and a question came about, why do you want to do that? I said condensation, and I wasn't really thinking about how it operated, because they both have heat exchangers, the diesel heater and the propane. There is no propane coming into the trailer. It just goes through a set of exhaust manifolds, and then a fan blows normal air, ambient air or incoming air from outside over the heat exchanger, and then blows that hot air created in through the vents and around the trailer. And then everybody else on the internet is saying, oh yeah, the diesel heater is producing so much drier heat. Well, okay, yes, it is producing dry heat. Propane heaters do produce dry heat. If I had my buddy heater in here, then I would be creating condensation, because I am burning the actual propane as a burner, and it's right there in the atmosphere inside of a tent, a trailer, etc. So then you would get condensation. The other theory would be there to break this sort of myth about propane condensation inside of a travel trailer, is when I'm parked and I've got my 2 or 3 electric heaters going, I still get condensation on my windows. And why? Well, the big thing here is going to primarily be the fact that you're breathing. And when the outside temperature is cold and it's on the windows or on the sides of the trailer, and you're breathing cold air, your warm air over the surrounding surfaces, yeah, you're going to create a bit of condensation. Okay, so you've created condensation. How do you get rid of it? Well, you've got to warm the cabin up to a hot ambient temperature. The idea here is that I'm going to use this diesel heater to run throughout the night. We don't normally have heat on during the night time. We like to sleep in a colder environment when we're sleeping. I don't like it too hot, but we do have our windows open and we have a drawer curtain between the cabin and our bedroom. So with that shut, what we want to try and do during the day is have this diesel heater running and keeping that ambient heat throughout the trailer all day long. I don't think my 4 6-volt batteries would sustain 24-hour operation. Okay, so that's the other reason why having a separate independent battery on the diesel heater pushing this nice warm air around the cabin. The area that I'm only interested in warming up is the living area and the kitchen. That's the area that I'm in right now, because at night time when we come in, we could watch TV, a movie on the iPad, play cards, etc. But we can have that edge taken off. If I need to push extra heat in here in a hurry, the propane heater still works. We can turn it on and off as we desire, and we can increase that temperature and then get the diesel heater to keep running again on its own. So it's ticking it over. So the condensation theory, yeah, I'm going to hats off to the guys on my group that I was chatting to. It made sense exactly what they were talking about. I wasn't thinking that way, but propane heaters inside of travel trailers tend to flick on and off, and they're quite noisy. They do work really well. I think efficiency wise probably go through less propane than I would go through diesel. My big problem here is going to be energy, as in stored energy from the batteries. So we'll see how that all works out. So far the test is good. Since I've been talking, the temperature has stayed at 15 degrees, and the temperature has been lowered down, the fan speed has been lowered down, and yeah, it's I'll come back to and show you what's going on in a little while. So I'm going to leave this to run, like I said, for a couple of hours. Let's go and have a look at the amperage now. Not quite sure why it's fluctuating between 0.4 and 1 amp, as you can see there, but that is also a very good value. 0.4 to 1 amp, if you were to do the math very quickly on a 70 ampere hour battery, even if it was 1 amp, you'd be draining at about 70 hours, which would be really good. So we'll have a quick listen to see what the sound sounds like from this diesel heater on slow. So you can hear the pump clicking away between that 0.4 and 1 amp. And the output of the fan. Is the box hot? It is warm to touch right here. A little bit warm on the very top. Worst case scenario is I can put another vent right in here to draw some more fresh air in for the heat exchanger pipe, and maybe draw some cold air through this way to cool it down on the inside. So unluckily, as unluck would have it, I have an error code, and this is what an error code looks like. You have to count the red flashing dots, and in this case there are 5, and those 5 red dots comprehend to an error code of 5, as you can see right here, that the system is overheating. Check the temp sensor on the shell, or whether the fan has abnormal rotational speed, which I'm pretty sure it's the heat inside of the box. Unfortunately, I have to wait for it to cool down to start it all up again. The error codes, I will take a snapshot and put this in the link or in another picture so you can get to see them. The conventional error codes for all digital and analog style fan controllers. Right now what I've gone and done is I've just opened up the case, as you can see, and it is quite warm in there. I think what I'm going to do is I am actually going to drill a hole on the side of the case right here and let more through air in. I will restart this and make sure that the heat is back in the trailer so we can see how long it lasts. That took about an hour for that code to get there. With that error code and me having the door open, I just want to show to you that the temperature has dropped a little bit down to 14 degrees, so I really want to get this going again and test this out. So I'm going to quickly restart this as it's just cooled down enough to turn off. There we go, I've just turned it back on again, and it will take a while to get going. I'm going to ramp it back up again to keep that temperature. Inside of the trailer. So this is a good chance for me to actually capture the startup amperage. So the startup amperage currently is 8 amps, and it's literally just started up, so I thought I'd quickly come down here and grab this current reading. Very interesting, the glow plug turned off fairly quickly because I guess it was already warm before. The fan, I'm not sure if you can hear that, but it's ramping up. It went from 8 amps down to 1 amp, and now just on the fan speed we're only getting 2 amps. So to be honest with you, this is actually a pretty efficient fan. Yeah, it spikes to 3, but I've got it on full heat and full fan right now. So we've been running now for 3 hours. About the last hour and a half, I would say, yeah, about an hour and a half, it's been running at this amperage. So if that's going to run like that all night, I think if I did my math correctly, it was like 70 hours of runtime. So I'm really happy with that right now. Let's go and have a look at what the temperature's like inside. This is a quick test after 3 hours. I do have the cover open to let air in. I am going to modify it like I said earlier, but this is just to show you at 8:30 at night what it sounds like with the pump and with the fan running. So that gap would not necessarily be there because I will close that up, so it would be a little bit quieter than this. So just before I touch anything, that's the speed we're running at and the temperature. Oh man, it feels nice and warm in here. Let's have a quick look and see what we're at. There we go. Consistently it's been staying the same. That's 17 degrees, which is really good. And the ambient temperature inside is really nice. Again, it's quite hot. So that's really good. This is going to conclude the testing portion of the build. The next phase of this is to take it out in the field, which is going to be in a couple of weeks for me. So I will update you in a couple of weeks of how it goes all night long. Right now it's like I said, 17-18 degrees inside of here. It's absolutely wonderful in here. The test so far has been a success. I know I have it in a case. It's a bit extreme with a battery case and a Pelican style case for the heater, but again, I want versatility right now. If it becomes that we like it a lot, the heater will come inside in the hole that I made. It can just fit in there perfectly with all the exhaust pipes and the air intakes going outside. It would be though a lot noisier in here because the actual machine would be inside, so you'd hear all the air drawing in and blowing over the heat exchanger and everything. So, was it a success? Yes, it was a success. I'm quite happy. I've taken my jacket off. It's nice and hot in here. The next test that I want to do is probably a part 4, and then I will try it out in the field. I'm looking forward to going out camping, putting it on, making sure that the neighbors, because I have a paid campsite, is where I'm next going mid-March. And from there, if they complain about the odor of the diesel heater from the exhaust or the noise, we'll see what happens. It is low enough that I don't think that will happen. I'm looking forward to going into our bedroom and sleeping comfortably. Yes, we'll have our windows open, but in the morning waking up and finding out that the temperature inside of the living space is perfect, and that's what I'm looking forward to. You saw the amperage on this. If I leave it set to where it is, fan speed 3, it's going to give us a nice amount of heat. If that lasts all night, 0.4 to 1 amp, again 69 ampere hour battery, lithium, I can probably get around that 69 hours. I'm only going to be out for a maximum of 48 for that time. That's where the solar panel comes in, because I want to make sure that the battery stays fully charged, or charged enough that it's draining some of the solar and the battery, but it's not draining the battery dead. The reason for that is I've heard on the internet the fact that if the battery does die and it doesn't shut down properly, you could cook the main board of the diesel heater. So I have to be careful of that. And that's the reasoning why I put 2 Anderson plugs on there. So noise inside of the trailer, I'm sitting right in front of the diesel heater. It's literally right behind me. I will shut up for a few seconds and let you listen. I can hear the pump, and that is because the box is not sealed. Like I said, I'm going to put one more air vent in the front to draw some air across the exhaust system to hopefully use that heat to come back in through the combustion chamber, so it's not reheating cold air, it's actually using a bit of the exhaust heat. Don't forget, the bad side to this is it could, if you have a leak from your exhaust system, you'd be drawing diesel fumes in. I do have a carbon monoxide tester in the trailer, fully functioning, so again, that is my safety just in case something happens, and if I do start to smell it, then I'll have to reconfigure something there. Again, sound wise, I don't really hear it too much. If I'm in the bedroom sleeping, I don't think I'll hear it at all. Just as we go to shut it down, I just wanted to quickly show you the amperage as it does close down. So that's the glow plug reigniting to do a combustion burn. So 8 amps. So I haven't reached the 10 amps that everybody talks about on the internet, but it definitely got that high 8 amps. There you go, the glow plug switched right off again, and now we've just got the fan operating and it's cooling the system down, so 0.1 or 0.9 of an amp. There you go, 1 amp. So very impressive. Okay, so I do want to show you very quickly the level of fuel after 3 hours. So remember, it was just above that screw hole there, and now we're just about 1/3 of the way, 2/3 of the way through there. So that's how much diesel it has used. Fan speed 2 over 3 hours. It's not too bad. The owner's manual. What do I think about this? I did say at the very beginning I didn't expect much from this. You can see how thick it is. There are multiple languages in here. It has just been translated. I found that it was very easy going. The understanding of it was very good. It does give you the fault codes. They are generic, as you've seen earlier. I will post it, like I said, somewhere in here. Okay, so these are generic for the digital and the analog systems. It does give you some in-depth diagrams of how to mount it or maintain it depending on your configuration. It does work with the digital and the analog systems, as I said, but also the key fob. So this book was it's generic for the 2, 5 and 8 kilowatt systems. I was impressed. I expected a lot worse, to be honest with you. So that was a really good conclusion. Alright, the next thing would obviously be ambient temperature in here, which is what I'm looking forward to when we go camping. I want to thank you very much for joining me with this. If you haven't already, please subscribe, hit that bell for notifications of upcoming videos, and I will see you on the part 4 when we're out in the field to do field testing. Survive to be alive.